Hey y'all, Panzer Dragon here, and today we'll be going over the top 5 best mid laners for solo queue for patch 4.12. So recently some champions are being more popularized these days, and feels like the assassin meta is coming in, at least for solo queue, and I don't know what to say, but what I can tell you is the champions in this tier list are what I find strong right now at the moment. So at number 5 we do have Yasuo. So I kind of moved with Yasuo in the tier list because the only way he is actually good is if he has knockups. Otherwise, don't ever pick him if you're the only knockup. So kind of like a situational pick. But if there is a knockup, I do like Yasuo, and Yasuo only lacks certain problems like his early game. He doesn't really have that power spike until he gets like Blade Rune King or Static Shiv. He has some tough matchups that he has to be careful of, and obviously an AD mid is pretty bad if you have an AD top 2, because then the enemy will just build all armor and you're kind of screwed late game. And another point is to make is people pick Yasuo without knockups. Honestly, if you really want to make Yasuo really efficient, you have to have a team with at least some knockups other than just Yasuo. Other than that, there's definitely a lot of pros about Yasuo. First off, he can farm a ton of minions. His wave clear is really good as he does have a lot of damage. And I think everyone has seen this before, but every time Yasuo is in the game, he always has more CS than the average laner. I always see Yasuos these days have really high CS. And second off, if you're ahead as Yasuo, you'll probably win every team fight if you get a good knockup. If someone lands a knockup onto the enemy squishy, they're probably gonna die. And just that can probably win you the team fight. So yeah, he's a pretty good assassin, and then he can just clean up the team fight since there's no damage to take him down. And if you do have a reliable knockup to combo with Yasuo, you'll probably win every team fight. Just remember, he's kind of useless if there is no initiation for him to get in. The only thing he can do is split push and 1v1 other laners. So at number 4 is Lucian. This is kind of self-explanatory. If he's not played AD carry, if he's not played out top lane, then play him mid lane. Right now Lucian is a really strong pick for solo queue, so if he's not picked in champion select yet and top and bottom are filled, I suggest you can play him mid. I kind of listed the pros and cons already, but what he can do from mid I guess is he can farm safely, he can farm wraith/wolves, and if Lucian does want to roam, I guess he's got pretty good ganks despite having no CC. I mean, he literally does have a relentless pursuit and a lot of damage. And he's a mid lane who doesn't have an escape, so he's relatively safe to ganks. But yeah, basically the buff to his E is ridiculously OP, and you should always pick him up if you can in solo queue and play him wherever possible. So Lucian's early game, mid game, late game are all strong. His mid game is definitely stronger since he can, well, kite people for so long. And since he is an AD carry, he does scale really well into the late game. But I do feel like Lucian is better in top lane or bot lane, simply because AD carries mid aren't usually the best. So at number 3 is Fizz. Fizz's damage is really high and has really good teamfight potential, and he also has invulnerability with his pole, and he just hits like a truck with his abilities. He also has an initiation with his fish, and most mid laners don't really have an initiation, so that's a really stand-up point for him. And his late game is really beast mode too, because 1, he's hard to kill, 2, he has lots of damage, and 3, he has an initiation. And also you can like WQ someone late game and bring him down from 100% to 25%. So yeah, he's pretty good right now. The only problem is he has to play aggressive early game to win his lane, since he does have a lot of CC and mobility. And so being aggressive can make him vulnerable for ganks. And on the other side, he's also really good to gank for. Alright, so number 3 we do have Twisted Fate. Alright, so again, if you're a good TF, play him. But if you're not, don't play him. A good TF will literally carry your team, and a bad TF will feed the enemy team. In my opinion, I do feel like if he's played in the right hands, he's really strong. Alright, so what's good about him? First off, he has the ability to gank people around the map since his ult is semi-global. This is really useful for killing people and picking people off, and especially if you are fed, you can 1v1 everyone and of course pick people off by yourself. And he does provide hard CC with his 2-second stun gold cards, so it's really easy for people to follow up on his ganks. This ability is what makes him really strong right now, is the semi-global ultimate. If you know how to make use of it, then you're obviously going to be really strong. He can also split push and keep a lane pushing, and so that can put pressure into the enemy team because someone has to deal with that. And also I heard a quote from High, if you go even in CS in lane, you automatically win the lane, since you do have that passive which gives you more gold. And with more gold you can have more presence around the map since you do have that global ultimate. He also has pretty good wave clear, so pushing lanes is not a problem for him. But he does have some bad things about him, like his early game, he's so vulnerable and weak, he can't trade with most mid laners. He's easily camped, and if you shut him down early, his map presence is kinda lowered since he doesn't feel that strong at the moment. And he really only has single target burst damage. He doesn't really have any game changing spells like Ziggs ultimate or Yasuo ultimate. He only has like 3 damaging abilities, and they're all really single target. Other than that, he can be a real threat if he gets fed. He's also really vulnerable to assassins who get onto him first, and he doesn't really have any escapes to get away from them. And at number 1, we do have Talon. So the way I see it, Talon's always been sleeper OP, and assassin meta is basically coming back into play. And fun fact, he's the only champion with a silence right now who is viable mid. So I guess he's kinda good against those mages who depend on spells. But now let's go over why I think Talon is really strong right now. So Talon does have really good pick potential. He can easily assassinate squishies in like 2 seconds, and also he has a gap closer CC and a movement speed / gap closer ultimate, which is really good for killing people along with his burst damage. Now the reason why I think Talon is super strong is because of his teamfight potential. Unlike LeBlanc, he can actually teamfight better since he does have a lot of AoE damage. He can get in and get out safely with his ultimate, and that's kind of countered by pink wards, but he still does have the movement speed from it. And along with that AoE damage, he still has assassination potential on a squishy. So overall, if we compare it to old LeBron, I can make picks as good as LeBlanc, and I'm not useless in teamfights. I can also split push since I do have great mobility. Also, I think having a 75 to 55 second ultimate cooldown is really strong, which means he can roam a lot. And now, there's one thing I don't like about him is his pre-6. It's kind of weak. He's a melee champion, so harass is easy on him. But once Talon is level 6, he's basically impossible to gank. But overall, I think he's a really good champion, and you should learn him if you want to climb the solo queue. Now, obviously, mid lane is a really diverse champion pool. And so, as a bonus, I will give you the next top 5 champions for mid lane, and in no particular order, it is Syndra, Orianna, Ahri, Xerath, and Ziggs. These are all really good champions right now, but the top 5 I listed previously, I feel are the best, since I just feel like they have a stronger presence in the game than these 5 right now. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, and comment below. Check out my other tier list on who I feel like are the strongest for a solo queue. And yeah, that's really about it. Again, thank you for watching. It's me, Panzer Dragon, and I'm signing out.